Shishidadha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Welcome back to another session of storytelling and reflections. And I want to start today with a question. Do we have faith? Do we believe? Do we believe that Krishna is present and working within our lives? Do we have faith that there is any kind of divine personality or divine presence working within our lives? To a certain extent, yes, we do have faith. We actually have unflinching, strong, uncompromising, unwavering faith. And I will explain how. Each night, we go to sleep with the faith that the next day we will wake up and our bodies will function much the same, if not better, than the day before. We have faith that our eyes will open and blink, that our muscles will move, that our blood will circulate throughout our body, that our hearts will beat. And we have no idea who is behind all of this functioning, nor do we have any control over it. So in that regard, yes, we have faith. Now, if we redirect that faith toward Krishna, the supreme source of all of us, who is actually controlling, maintaining, and protecting all of us, then that faith begins to grow dramatically. And it is that level of faith that spiritual seekers have been looking for thousands of years. And it's that rare level of faith that was exemplified by the simple villagers of Vrindavan, the village where Krishna spent his childhood. And that brings us to today's reading. Today's story comes from a section of Prema Mala called The Belly of the Beast. And it's a particular piece called Fearless in Love. And it is about the unlimited possibilities that become available to us when we begin to have faith. What is it? Sridham craned his neck, looking up as far as he could, but still unable to see an end to the enormous obstacle. I'll tell you what it is. It's a snake! Subal shouted the last word, already skipping backward, ready to run from danger. Another boy caught the end of Subal's cloth wrapper, yanking him back to the group of investigative cowherd boys. Subal returned hesitantly, eyeing the cave warily. Don't be foolish. A snake could never be this big. This is probably just a cave that's been fashioned to look like a snake's mouth by Krishna. Charu waved away Subal's concerns and smiled with wonder. He examined the huge, gaping hole in the road from every angle, nodding with appreciation. A cave that's meant to look like a snake? Why would Krishna do that? Subal cast a nervous glance at the mouth of the cave. He was still ready to run. To give us another amazing spot to play in, of course. Charu spread his arms wide as though he had found the perfect explanation. A smaller boy grabbed Subal's cloth and tugged until Subal looked down at him. His eyes were huge, but his voice was no more than a whisper. Do you really think this creature is waiting here with its mouth open to swallow us all? Is this some kind of immovable living thing? Some sort of tiger, maybe? Or something even worse? Subal could hear the small boy's gulp loud and clear. Subal wasn't sure how to answer, but looked to the group of older boys who were discussing the roadblock with concern. As they were navigating the pathways of the many forests of Vrindavan, the cowherd boys and Krishna had come across a great obstacle in the road. It extended through the sky for as far as the eye could see, and it seemed as though none of them could make out what the huge blockage was. Marumangal stepped through the group of boys and came close to what they guessed was the mouth of the great cave. He stroked his chin while deep in thought, considering with all of his Brahminical intelligence all that had been said. Speaking with authority and confidence in his deductive reasoning, Madhumangal's voice was sure, but cautious. Dear friends, I think this is certainly an animal sitting here waiting to swallow us all. Look, there, the upper lip is touching the clouds, and the lower lip forms the base of the cave, which is actually a huge mouth. Madhu pointed as he presented his evidence, extending his arms outward. On the right and the left, those two deep depressions that look like mountain caves are actually the corners of its mouth, and those mountain peaks there and there are its teeth. Madhu looked like a scientist as he explained the anatomy of the great beast. This broad traffic way must be the tongue, and inside its mouth it is very dark and grave like the cave of a mountain. The hot wind blowing from inside the cave is actually its breath, and the horrible burning smell coming off the wind must be from all of the animals it's eaten. Madhu held his hand in front of his face, no longer able to stomach the stench, and the rest of the boys made retching noises and sounds of disgust as they began to consider this new information. The boys looked around them at the bigger picture. It was just as Madhu had said. Then I was right. This is a great beast waiting to devour us all. Subal was now more anxious than ever and began to inch backward again. The younger boy trembled and clung to him. At the first sight of true danger, they would also flee with him to safety. Has this creature really come to swallow us? Ha! If that's so, then in an instant Krishna will just kill it, just like all the other demons. Krishna is right there. Why should we worry? Charu gestured toward Krishna, who was standing on the far side of the road, gathering the cows who had spread out to pasture. The other cowherd boys looked to their invincible friend. Just like that, their previous concerns and fears vanished. Their best friend Gopal was playing little melodies on his flute to keep the cows gathered as they chewed happily on the sweet grass. As they set their eyes on Krishna, their hearts filled with happiness, and their fears fled like clouds chased away by the midday sun. The boys remembered the strength of their friend and how he had saved them many times. Almost daily, he would save them from a different demon. They began to cheer and clap their hands, laughing excitedly amongst themselves. Charu puffed his chest out and pointed a finger towards the dark entrance into the open mouth of the beast. So what do you say, Gopas? Let's go see what's in that mouth. Charu marched forward as though he were a soldier and was followed by all of the other Gopas. They clapped their hands and some of them even danced a little as they formed a line like little ants marching into the deep hole of an anthill. Krishna stopped playing his flute for a moment. The receding voices of the cowherd boys had caught his attention. He watched every single one of his Gopa friends walk into the mouth of the vicious demon, Aghasura, who had taken the form of a large python. Krishna held out a hand to stop the boys, a huge breath held in his chest, waiting to call out to them to stop. But the last of the boys disappeared into the demon's dark mouth. The cows, who had seen their protectors head into the distance, began to walk toward the beast to enter its mouth as well. Krishna wanted to warn his friends, to forbid them from entering into the mouth of the demon. But now, it was too late. They were gone. They were depending on him, and he had to save them. Although all of the boys had already entered its gigantic mouth, the mouth of the great demon remained open, as though it was waiting for something. Krishna tucked his flute into his belt before tightening the sash at his waist. There was only one thing to do. The beast was waiting, not for something, for someone. With a nod and one angry look at the demon's upper lip high in the sky, Krishna walked determinedly into the mouth of the demon to save his friends. So we now see what incredible faith looks like. Were the cowherd boys sure about what they would find when they marched inside this vicious-looking cave? No. Were they even sure about what the cave was? Also no. But they had faith in Krishna. They knew that Krishna would be there to help them no matter what. They knew that Krishna would be there to protect them in any circumstance. They had seen it every day of their lives. And we've seen it too. Krishna protects us and maintains us and keeps us functioning every single day. All of the things that happen within our lives, the way our body moves, the way we think, and the way we process ideas, we have no idea how any of that is working. But we can be sure that Krishna is behind it all. And once we begin to have faith, like these cowherd boys, that is the beginning of our adventure with our dearmost friend. So this story comes from Prema Mala. We will be talking more about the cowherd boys and their faith in the next video. But until then, I will see you soon.